Hello, good morning, and welcome. My name is John Beatty, professional comic book artist of 25 plus years, working on such titles as Captain America, my personal favorite character, Secret Wars, The Nom, The Punisher, limited series, The Punisher graphic novel Return to Big Nothing. At DC Comics, I worked on Batman for 8 years straight with writer Doug Minch and penciler Kelly Jones. I worked on Justice League America, Justice League Europe, Adventures of Superman, to name a few. How are you this morning? And that's my introduction. Today we are going to attempt to draw a portrait of Poison Ivy. By request, I think a few people in the chat room mentioned her yesterday when I was maybe leaning towards Batgirl or Catwoman, and I thought Poison Ivy was a good choice. So I went ahead and I haven't done anything yet this morning. We are going to try to get this done within an hour. Hopefully I can. We're going to concentrate mostly on the face, and hopefully we'll have time to put a little tone in it like I've been doing these past mornings. So I will get busy drawing, and as people trickle into the chat room, I will look up and say good morning to you and hope not to miss anybody. All right. I appreciate those who have been showing up. And let me get my mic hooked up. That would help to my collar here. And I appreciate those who have left comments either after they've seen the stream or later in the evening when they have a little more time. So those comments and those likes really help me out. So if you're watching this and you like it, give it a thumbs up. Bing. And if it's your first time in the chat room or watching this stream and you'd like to see more, please hit the subscribe button, and there will be a little bell that pops up. Hit that bell, and when I go live again, it'll give you a notification that I'm on air live or I have uploaded new content. So without further ado, let's get this started, shall we? And as normal for all my head drawings, I find a nice circle shape. I have a very light line down the middle of the page to good morning, Ron. How you doing? Hope you make the drive safely today, if indeed you are. We are going to be doing, if you missed my introduction, we are going to be doing that Poison Ivy portrait that you and Shannon had recommended. Or, well, I should say, we're going to be trying to do it. We'll see how successful I am. Good morning, Stephen. I trust everybody had a good Halloween. I have been humming a little bit this morning, so you may notice right off the bat that my voice is maybe a little smoother. Luckily, there's nobody else in the office building this early. I think that most of the people come in around 9. There might be a few people that show up at 8, but I'm usually here at around anywhere between 5 and maybe 5:15, 5:30 at the latest. Because I'm that early morning person. All right, Ron. I understand. I appreciate you leaving comments. They do help. And thank you very much for doing so. All right, so we find a center line for the eyes. I've already got a line down the middle of the page to kind of keep the face in the middle of the page, unless I'm doing a 3/4 or something, I don't do it. But we're gonna work kind of on a front view here. So I want to keep it kind of as centered as possible. Um, Although I am gonna swing her neck in, which will become uh, actually it'll in the finished piece it'll be a hairline type thing. So let's get that, and let's get her eyes put in. And it's a little bit off. Hey, Big Easy, how you doing this morning? I did get out into some trick-or-treating last night with my son and wife. We had a good time. He had a great time. Um, he had his Black Panther costume going, and I have to say that the little guy just loved it when people would say, "Oh, you're the Black Panther. That's really cool." It would kind of pump his chest up. So people can be very nice to children, and I'm glad to see that, because it really, when you compliment them and you know the character they are, it just seemed to be kind of magical. Yeah, I'm tired too. I stood in line at the very end with my son for a one of those little balloons that the guys twist up, and the guy that was doing it was literally probably a 30 or 40 minute wait, but he had to have that balloon, so we stood in line. And sorry if my glasses keep hitting the camera here. That's why we're getting that. Let me pull back a little bit because I can see I got room to come back some. All right, we'll do a nose line about midway down, and of course we're going to give her very small nostrils. Yeah, as I was saying, oh well, that's very good, Big. Glad to hear your kids had a good time last night, and safe time. Uh, and of course, my son, we went to a trunk or treat at the park across from City Hall, and it was very well organized. They kept it like you lined up, and they kept the line straight. So very very cool. So everybody wasn't running all around, and you kind of just went from car to car. The fire department was there, police department, emergency, some of the local elected officials, that type of thing. And they organized it real well. It got over right at 7 o'clock, which was fine because it started around 5:30. We were there. We live right down the street. We got there around 5 because we knew there would be a crowd. So we had to stand in line for half an hour before it started. And then, like I said, I got to stand in line with Jacob while the balloon guy was uh, doing his thing. making balloons until they came and started taking the little barriers down that were up around him, and they cut the line. I think I just snapped the lead there. Yep, I knew I heard it crack. Let me get rid of that. So yeah, it was a good night when we got home. Jacob, and I know part of it was he did, and part of it was he, I know he just didn't want to get out of the costume. Um, so we took him to a few houses that I was actually surprised were still, people were still out. And what I noticed was the people were, and it was a beautiful night out last night, at least where I live. It was very nice weather. I would say low 70s, low humidity, which is great for Florida. And people were sitting out in front of their garages, and some of them had even dressed up, and they had very nice decorations and tubs of candy. I don't know what they were expecting, but um, because like we kind of had discussed, there's, when I grew up, that was the only option really, was to go door to door. Now they've got so many other sponsored events that, and I think a lot of it has to do with safety reasons. Um, so yeah, he got to walk around the neighborhood a little bit, and I'd introduced myself to some people who I never see, let them know that we were neighbors and lived down the street, and this was our son out trick-or-treating, just so they would know that uh, we weren't riffraff that came in from the other neighborhoods. And because I understand you know, there are some people that they will drop their kids off in a neighborhood and wait for them in the car, and when they go down the block and back, they cart them off to another neighborhood, and they start again. And that always struck me as kind of funny. Oh man, that red lead is really, maybe this one's about ready to give out on me. Well, hopefully not. So yeah, some people will, you know, take their carload of kids and neighbors around to various neighborhoods. That's right, Stephen. You must live in a good neighborhood then. If you get like the whole town coming to your area. Okay, I'm trying to just see something real quick. Hold on a minute, guys. I got to kind of look at this straight. Uh, Make sure the eyes are pretty much on. I think there's a few things here that are bothering me, so I'm going to lightly erase. I'll probably still go with what I have down because I like it. Just want to lighten up a bit. Okay. Now, I know this was bugging me, was that the eyes seem too close together, so I'm going to put these little hash marks here. Uh, and draw her eyelashes out like this. Okay. And then under her eye, gonna tuck that in. All right, quarter after. Quarter after, quarter after. So, as I was saying, I did do, because I wasn't sure. Um, it's one of those things that you just do it and sometimes you don't think about it. But uh, I was curious as to how many leaves were on poison ivy, the actual plant. And according to the internets, yes, I did say internets. That was not a lisp, um, because it's fun to say it as internets. According to the internets, from what I read, you can have a 3-leaf poison ivy, but you can also have a 5-leaf poison ivy. And the 5-leaf is a stronger uh, strain, I guess, if you get it, a stronger plant. So, but there's also a 5-leaf plant out there that, well, used to could get you in trouble, but I think if you live in Florida and some other states around the US of A now, you are actually allowed to um, use that plant if you have a condition, or some allow you recreational. I don't particularly partake in it, but if it's for health reasons and it helps somebody, then that's good. And let's see, kind of we're gonna round this chin up. I want to just get the shape of her face a little bit more dialed in before we go to ink, and her hair will be a mass, not a mess, a mass. Yep, that's right, Big Easy. The churches have done a very good job. Uh, the church that I go to, and I haven't been there in a while, but I did see some ladies from the church that I go to last night because they're part of the Christian motorcycle club, and they had a set up at the trunk or treat. So I got to say hello to them. They used to do one, and I don't think they do it anymore. And I'm not sure of the reason. I'm not sure why they stopped doing it. They're kind of far out in a sense. And far out, I mean they're kind of away from, if you didn't know they were out there, it's just a matter of where they could actually build. It's actually a very uh, popular church. It's a Calvary Chapel, if you're familiar with that. Very laid back way to worship. Don't have to wear a suit and tie. You can come in jeans and t-shirt and flip-flops if you want. And I have, and even shorts, especially here in Florida when it's hot, and nobody looks at you like, why is he not wearing a suit? And they sing modern. They have a praise band and do a great job. They've always had a wonderful band. But anyway, it's nice seeing some of the ladies last night. And I do have, if you just heard that, uh, even though we don't really have a change of season um, here in Florida, the air last night, and I don't really have allergies, but when we do have the little bit of change in air, I will get a little bit of congestion or something, but it usually doesn't last long at all. I'll sniffle for a little bit and then it's gone. Okay, now I want to show some shoulder here because we're going to sling this neck down. Excuse my little bit of talking to me, but I got a voice today, so I think I'm going to use it. And I think we'll just put this in, kind of let this fall straight down or at a bit of an angle going out. In fact, let me see what this looks like because I got this nice curve. Got this nice curve over here. If I do a straight line over here, that is what's known as a juxtaposition of a curve versus a straight line. Just an art term. Big Easy, you might like that. And it's when you have like I said, something that's more straight and linear here and something on the other side that's curved. So you get a juxtaposition of shapes. Okay, so got the basic. Now we're going to put some poison ivy leaves in her hair. To kind of make that wreath of poison ivy. These are kind of going to look like stars being 5, although I'm going to make them various sizes so they are nice and organic. Let's see. Got the middle of her hair here, so da, 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 da. That's your art tip for the day, Big Easy. Juxtaposition. And there's actually, I haven't seen an issue in a while. A lot of it is modern art type stuff. That's pretty cool. And I think the title of it is just Juxtapose. You might be able to find it on a newsstand if you have a newsstand near you. And that's one thing I have not been to a bookstore and to even look at magazines, newsstands in a long time. And I just blame that on, I most of the stuff I just buy online that I want. But I do miss looking at magazines because I usually won't buy a magazine sight unseen unless it's like a Kirby collector or something like that, something that I kind of know what I'm getting into. But as far as I do see magazines when I go through Atlanta when I'm flying for a convention. But other than that, I don't see many newsstands. And as far as I know, we don't have just a newsstand where I live anymore. We used to. In fact, downtown here where my office is located, we used to have a big newsstand that sold all sorts of magazines, newspapers from around the world, and of course, comic books. That's all gone, sad to say. All right, now let me entertain you. No, I hope y'all couldn't hear that. That was Okay. I just want to give it a look here. I think I still want to narrow this chin in a little bit. If I was drawing Wonder Woman, the chin would be okay, that squared, but I kind of want to keep Poison Ivy's chin, I'll say pointy, I guess, a little more pointier than squared. So that may do it. It's not a perfect point. I'm not doing like the animated style, but I do want it to not be as squared off as I had it. Okay, so let me take one look again straight up here. I actually can kind of do it where you all can see it. And I'm just checking my proportions, and looks like I got to remember to kind of um, eyebrows are a little close together, so I'm going to draw myself some little lines here to make sure I got that proper distance, which is about an eye, uh, the same eye shape. And in the middle, it's like 1, 2, 3 eyes, and then, you know. So now that I got that, I'm going to erase this area out. And that'll be my reminder to not ink in much further than that, if at all. All right. Sound good, gang? Take a sip of my. I drink lemon and lime LaCroix. There's a plug for them. Seltzer water, quite a bit. Just enough flavor, and I like the fizz. All right. So, where to start? I know. You all would think I would know that by now, correct? Get out I just found a piece of corrugated cardboard that I've been using for these so that I'm not, I do have a few, as you can see, ink marks and stuff on this hardwood that I have on top of my drawing board, but when I go off the edges of this paper, I don't want to really get it much more because it does tend to smear. And I try to keep my working surface here as clean as possible. Um, okay, so with that being said, we have a half hour, and we're looking like we're in good shape. So I'm going to go ahead and get busy on this. And one last thing, Big Easy. This is oh, I guess I need to put the cap on. This is a Pentel pocket brush that comes like this one's you see I've ripped out. Comes like this. I think it's about 20 bucks. You get 2 cartridges, and the ink is waterproof. You pop the cartridge in and hold it upside down, and the ink will feed into the bristles. so that you don't have to constantly dip back and forth into your jar of ink. So I had it's this is kind of funny. The first time I used this was last Friday. I've tried a couple of these before, and the thing that I'm not used to with them is the hair comes to such a fine point. So that was giving me a little bit of a fit. But so many of my friends had been using them, and I've seen them get good results. So I kind of challenged myself to use it last Friday for the freehand sketch. So I've been using it all this week, and I'm getting used to it now. So I don't think I just gave it a fair chance before. And um, although I did buy this one from Jet Pens online, I see that if you have a local Michaels hobby store, they're selling them now too. I didn't know they were. So I don't know how long they last as far as, I mean, you can buy ink cartridges at Jet Pens, which I did. I think they come in boxes of 5 or something, but I'm not sure how long the bristles are gonna hold up. So that's something I'm wondering if it's gonna, if it's gonna be durable enough to. But the great thing is, once this one wears out, which I'm sure it will because all brushes do eventually, is I can use it for special effects, whether it be, just getting in there and doing some really uh, like scrubbing type brush lines or something, or dry brush, even though you can still get a nice dry brush effect with this, but I'm trying to keep it so that it's pointed. All right. Hey, Ron. Um, you know what? It's just aesthetic. It's just the red is kind of fun to draw on. I don't know if the red actually shows up better on the camera for doing live streaming rather than I tend to draw very light. So, regular pencil, I might be working too light, and people may not be able to see it. So, um, that's one reason I went to the red pencil. And the other one is I've seen uh, a lot of my other friends using red pencil to draw with, and they kind of leave it in as part of the drawing. And like the Joker piece I did the other day, I actually I added red into his nose and cheeks and lips, and kind of used it for more than just the underdrawing. So it's something that I'm just doing right now. I don't know if I'll continue to do it or not. I might decide to um, to go to a regular lead later. So we'll see. Personally, I prefer regular lead when I'm working on stuff. Like I said, I just thought it would be fun for the stream. And I think you were in the, I also have blue and purple to work with. Oh, so the red does show better. Okay, that's good to know. Um, so maybe for my free head sketches and stuff, I will keep it in red if it shows up better. And for these weekly morning drawings. I thought about, and whenever I think about something, it starts getting dangerous because I usually wind up doing it. I thought about taking the red pencil and coloring her hair red because I believe yeah, I'm pretty sure she has red hair. So that's one of those options that the red pencil on this character affords me. Just like I was saying, I don't know if you were in the room with the Joker piece I did. Uh, his lips and his nose and cheeks, I went ahead and did the red. And that Joker got away from me. Like I said, I really like to play around with him, and he really looked like a hillbilly Joker to me. Like it looked like came out looking like it was a photo from way back in the 20s or the early 1900s or something. So I just ran with it. In fact, that would kind of be cool doing a Gotham set in the back in that time era. And who knows, maybe it'll get done. Not by me, but just remember where you saw Hillbilly Joker. You saw it from me first. Okay, Big. Thanks for dropping in. I know that I know you'll finish watching, and if you haven't already, uh, I would appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up on this stream. And hey, I appreciate all your retweeting and your likes when I put stuff out there. Uh, Thanks for helping me try to grow this channel, and thanks for supporting it by showing up. I appreciate you very much. think a big, I know he's left a few comments. I think he finishes watching the stream during his lunch break at work, which is pretty cool. And then I had a nice comment left from, if y'all remember AG, those of you that were here Friday, he left me a comment that while it's too early for him to see it live, he'll come watch my stream, the recorded, while he's having his morning coffee around 9ish, I guess. So very cool. All right, so I have to make sure that, yeah, that's still wet too. When using this though, this brush pen, that the lines I'm putting down are dry before I run my hand over another one. Or I could be in for a big mess. Because this will lay down some very wet ink, as you may be able to tell, which I do like. Let's go a little bolder here. And hit that taper. Boom. Good. And going to do the same thing here. I need to clean this line up and make it a bit more pronounced. Come on, work with me here. There we go. All right. Let's see. I think these ivy leaves will get a dark treatment because I'm going to need some black on this drawing. So we're going to kind of indicate them as such. So I may have an opportunity to, there's an office that is advertised as available, and I don't know if it's already spoken for or not, but I saw it on Craigslist today. It's in the same building, and I looked at it last year when it became available. I'm on the second floor. It's on the fourth floor. What I like about it is it's separated into, it's got like two separate offices with doors. It's basically the same square footage as what I have here, which is roughly 400 square feet. And it's a little bit more rent wise, but I would use one room as like a computer workstation. The other, I was thinking that would be my, excuse me, that would be my broadcasting, like streaming. And I do have an idea for a podcast, uh, which I haven't started yet. I wanted to get this YouTube station lifted off the ground first, and the podcast might actually just be a an extension of what I'm doing here, uh, without the I guess we can call it video. So not 100% sure, but I'm going to talk to the landlord about maybe seeing if I can extend my contract lease up to the fourth floor. I still have about a year and a half, and it is a little more, it is a little higher. But it's very cool, and it would kind of serve my purpose going forward. So if it happens, that would be cool. If it doesn't, then hey Josh, uh, how you doing this morning? Good to see you. Yeah, so I had a chance to get in it last year, and I couldn't pull the trigger. And then when I was like really about to do it, it was already leased. And I thought they were gonna renew their lease. So I was just kind of, I like to look. I have fun looking at Craigslist, seeing what's on there, and I always go to the office stuff. And when I saw it, again, I sent the guy in charge here an email this morning, and if he can work with me, then I think I'll do it, because I'm kind of committed to doing this now and have done it. So hey, yeah, good, Josh. Glad to have you here. Um, I know you probably can't make Friday night, but if mornings work, then hey, that's cool too. And if you like what you're seeing, can you give me the up? I always do it too high. The thumbs up there on the YouTube thing. That does help my channel in whatever YouTube uh, uses their collected data for. All the likes help my channel get when you're watching any other YouTube stuff and they see what you've liked, I think it kind of tracks your you, and it offers up suggested similar videos. And so I do have some tags in there, such as comicbookinker and comic artist, comic art, and it kind of follows those with you too. And then it sees who else is doing that, and it will recommend one of my videos to another person. And if they happen to come in and subscribe, then that's good for me too. Hey, thank you, Josh. That's a lot of thumbs up, buddy. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Okay, I think I can get that hairline. Let's see. That's still a little wet, so we'll be a little careful around it. Get that one. And pull a thin one down. And thin one up. I think it's this corrugated cardboard that's giving me a little bit of ripple effect here. And for right now, I'm gonna bang, get rid of it that way. All right, now gonna do a little pen work just to keep it I'm not used to that Pentel pen brush yet, and I want to make sure I keep her face shape as drawn. So I will switch up to the pen. And we got about 10 minutes till 8, so the rest of her hair is going to be actually quite light. So I'll at least try to get all the line work in. Any tones I add onto this, and I better not say, will be very simple, because then I'll wind up getting involved with it and, as usual, spending more time than I had planned. I have a habit of doing that. I guess it's a good habit. Uh, I don't know. I guess it's a good habit. It could be a bad habit. But nonetheless. All right. Hmm. You know, I'm thinking if and I probably will do some ink wash on this, what I might do, what I think would look very good, is leave the outline of the hair, or the holding of the hair, and do gray on the outside and let it not have a hard black line. See, this is all that stuff that I'm beginning to think of since I started messing around with watercolor. Not that it's a bad thing. Ah, see, I got a little smudge here. Luckily, this stuff erases pretty good. I haven't, Josh. I don't keep up with a lot of comics at all these days, including Kelly's. That's not to say I won't. I should have. It looks from what he's shown online and from what I've seen from reviews and stuff. Now I gotta. I don't want to use my finger on that. There we go. It looks phenomenal. It looks really nice. So I'm sure that eventually down the road, I will either get it through uh, um, what was I going to say? I will probably pick it up either on Comixology because I kind of like that. I don't mind. I don't mind digital stuff. Or I will pick up the trade paperback. That's usually the way that I get stuff is nowadays is either a trade paperback or I've even got some digital stuff that I missed and I was just like, you know, it's so immediate. I'll just grab it and put it on my iPad and I was going to say page through it, but I guess I'm not really paging through it. In a sense I am, but not in the traditional sense. But at any rate, yeah, I probably will be checking that out. And the girl that he's got doing the coloring on his work now is doing a fantastic job. Really, really like what she's been doing. Yeah, 3 issues. Is that going to run 5 or 6? I can't remember, or maybe even 4. I want to say it's going 6. Yep. Okay. That's what I had recalled. But I wouldn't have bet money on that because I wasn't 100% sure. And last time I spoke with Kelly, about a little over a month ago, maybe 2 months, I don't I don't think he was quite finished with it yet. but I think the first one had just came out, and I think he was finishing up issue 4. So he is probably close to being done with it now. All right, so I think you all get the general idea of where this is going, and I think I will end at 8 o'clock. Stay on time today, and go ahead and finish this, and I will tweet it out. So if you follow me on Twitter, you'll see the completed piece. Poison Ivy's looking a little angry, I see, which is fine. Maybe she's angry at the Batman or at Harley Quinn or whoever. But yeah, I'll go ahead and finish this up a little bit later. I'm going to let some ink dry, and hopefully I'll see you all tomorrow morning. And if not tomorrow, then on Friday. I want to wish everybody a happy Thursday. Take care. And like I said, if you leave a comment, I really appreciate it, and I will reply back. And if you like what you saw, thumbs up for me, please. And take care. See you next time.